Hi, my name is Chris Rucker, and I just want to share a few words of praise of what God has done for our family. Our son Aaron was plagued with a goiter. That's an enlarged thyroid, a non-toxic goiter. They didn't know the reason why because his thyroid was actually functioning normally. And it started all of a sudden growing uncontrollably. In fact, I saw him a couple of weeks ago, and the goiter had come up his neck, very large underneath his chin, all the way they were afraid of it extending into his chest. So I said, honey, you've got to see about that. And so he called me a couple of weeks later and said, Mom, that was about a week and a half ago. He said, Mom, I'm having surgery on Tuesday. And so I said, oh, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. And then I said, oh my goodness, he's in Kentucky. That's out in the boondocks. And I knew that he had to have a specialist that had a high volume of traffic in high expertise in this area. And he's out in the boondocks. But he said, Mom, I've got to have the surgery. So I started calling around to friends and groups, church members and family. And then one of my good friends sent me the Nathan Green painting of Jesus in the center of the surgery, guiding the hands of the physician. Because see, this is what I did before his surgery. I decided, well, let me look at the neck. And I discovered literally hundreds of organs and glands and muscles and nerves. And that surgeon had to work through all of that. And he really needed a specialist. And so I said, oh my goodness. I said, Lord, the neck is so amazing. I was amazed and awed. And I was praising God. And at the same time, I was crying because I knew that he had to be the surgeon. Jesus had to be the surgeon. And so I started calling everybody, asking them to pray that Jesus would be the surgeon. And I said to my husband, Mac, I said, honey, let us retain that image in our heads, in our minds, that Jesus is doing the surgery. And the surgeon took out 2 large masses from his thyroid that were the size of baseballs. And it turned out that they were literally squishing his trachea, his windpipe. Now that's the breathing tube. And God delivered him. So I want to say this. The word says, I sought the Lord, and he delivered me from all my fears. That's Psalm 34. Psalm 34 also says, many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers them out of all of them. And I hope this gives you hope and encouragement that Jesus is always there. And as for me, how many afflictions, how many troubles, how many fears, just like you, endless and countless ways he delivers us. May God bless you.